Hey, this is Joe, and today we're going to talk about finding the y-intercept of a function, specifically a single variable function. So first I'm going to throw out a couple different functions here and plot their graphs. So we're going to have f of x equals 3x plus 2, and its graph looks like this. G of x equals e to the x power, and its graph looks like this. H of x equals x squared minus 2x, and its graph looks like this. I of x equals tangent of x minus 1, and its graph looks like this. And finally, j of x equals 2 times sine of x minus 2, and its graph looks like this. Don't get worried about how I graph these functions. We're focusing specifically on the y-intercept. And quite simply, your y-intercept is where all these functions intersect the y-axis, this vertical line which is represented by x equals 0. And visually we can see that f of x intercepts the y-axis at 0, 2. G of x intercepts the y-axis at 0, 1. H of x intercepts the y-axis at 0, 0. I of x intercepts the y-axis at 0, negative 1. And j of x intercepts the y-axis at 0, negative 2. But what do we do if we don't have the graph already given to us? Well, simply we follow these directions. Notice that the x value of all of our intercepts is 0. And that is because the y-axis is represented by the equation x equals 0. So in other words, anything that crosses it must have x equal to 0. So for our first step, we're going to simply plug 0 in for x everywhere within our function. And we're going to simplify this result. This is going to be the y value of our y-intercept. So essentially, our y-intercept is just going to be 0, f of 0. So let's look at f of x. If we're following these directions, we're going to plug 0 in for x everywhere. So we're going to have 3 times 0 plus 2, which is going to be equal to 2. This is our y value of our y-intercept, and so our y-intercept must be 0, 2. We could do that for every other function, and we're going to see that the y value of g of 0 is going to be 1. The y value of h of 0 is going to be 0. The y value of I of 0 is going to be negative 1, and the y value of j of 0 is going to be negative 2. And so when we have a function, we simply just plug 0 in for x everywhere to get the y value of our y-intercept, and then our y-intercept will be 0, whatever value we got. And this is true for any single variable function. I'm Joe, and thanks for spending some time with me.